For nearly 2 decades, the no-ship Ithaca has carried its passengers on a relentless search for a new home. Among the original crew are also the young gholas of several historical figures, created by Shiana to help in the fight against the thinking machines. Duncan Idaho avoids the tachyon net, cast by the mysterious couple Daniel and Marty from Synchrony, who turn out to be the thinking machines Omnius and Erasmus. The machines believe the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach is aboard the Ithaca, and Omnius especially wants to dominate humanity by controlling this ultimate super being. The enhanced face dancers continue to infiltrate key organizations across the Old Empire, and they have sent the evil ghola of Paul Atreides and Baron Harkonnen to Synchrony, the capital of the machines. Paolo reached the age of 10, and he was brought to this place to have his training completed by Erasmus. The face dancers also managed to convince the Spacing Guild to transition from the classic navigators to Ixian navigation technology. Despite this, Master Waff is recruited by Edric and the Guild to engineer enhanced sandworms capable of producing the much-needed melange. By altering the DNA of the sandtrout stage, Waff develops an aquatic variant of the worms, which are later released into the oceans of planet Buzzle. The sandworms thrive in their new habitat, eventually generating a concentrated version of melange called Ultra Spice. After he successfully created the new type of sandworm, Waff asks Edric to take him to Arrakis, hoping to spend his remaining days trying to restore the sandworms to the devastated environment of the planet. After around a week, Waff appears to have failed, and he is ready to let it go. But as the final sandworm specimen dies, huge original sandworms emerge from deep underground. Waff realizes that each specimen carries a small portion of God Emperor Leto's consciousness, anticipating the attack of the honored Matri. He is happy that the planet begins to recover and allows himself to be swallowed by a sandworm. Meanwhile, face dancer Crone catches the guild navigator Edric and eliminates him, taking the newly created Ultra Spice. In the Old Empire, Mother Commander Murbella of the New Sisterhood prepares for a last stand against the thinking machines with her daughter, Duncan Idaho. She commissions the Ixians to replicate the powerful honored Matri obliterators for her newly ordered warships from the Guild. Murbella soon finds out that the Ixians have fallen under the control of Crone, who uses this position to further his plan for face dancer supremacy. The thinking machines spread destruction throughout the galaxy by infecting planet after planet with a lethal virus. The machines eventually arrive on Chapter House, and the Sisterhood rallies for one last battle. Shiana restarts the ghola program aboard the Ithaca. The gholas of Gurney Halleck, Xavier Harkonnen, and Serena Butler are almost completed, when the axolotl tanks are poisoned, destroying all 3 of them before birth. There are also multiple failures in the ship system, including the food storage units, leading the crew to suspect someone among them is a spy. Meanwhile, the gholas of Stilgar, Liet Kynes, and Dr. Yui also recover their memories through different traumatic events, and Scytale unlocks his past memories by dying in front of the younger version of himself. In need of supplies, Duncan has no other choice but to make another jump, and the ship arrives above planet Kelso. Idaho and the rest of the crew are surprised to see that the planet is slowly dying. Decades earlier, Mother Superior Darwi O'Drade had sent Bene Gesserit sisters to this world, and they introduced the sandtrout to initiate a spice production cycle. This made the natives resentful towards the Bene Gesserit, and they have now captured some crew members who had ventured on to the planet. Duncan must remain aboard the ship to avoid the eyes of the thinking machines, but he decides to lead a rescue mission. In the end, several hostages, including Shiana and Miles Teggola, are freed. Stilgar and Liet Kynes remain behind to help the angry natives adapt to the expanding desert and the growing population of sandworms. By leaving the ship, Duncan Idaho exposed himself to the watchful gaze of Omnius and Erasmus, so they made another fold space jump to avoid the danger. Later, when Leto the second ghola went to the sandworms held in the ship, the ghola of Thufir Hawat followed, to protect him in case the creatures turned hostile. As soon as Hawat entered, the sandworms turned aggressive and instantly attacked him, revealing that he was actually an enhanced face dancer. This triggers a ship-wide search for other spies who are potentially plotting against them, and the entire crew of the Ithaca gathers in the main assembly hall for everyone to be interrogated. They found out through the old Talaxu whistling that Rabbi is the second enhanced face dancer, both of whom must have infiltrated back on the planet of the Handlers. He runs to the ship's bridge, locks himself inside, and begins sabotaging the key navigation and cloaking systems, making the no-ship visible again. Alia manages to eliminate the face dancer by sneaking into the cockpit, but Ithaca is soon surrounded by a fleet of thinking machines. Duncan and Miles Tegg rush to the control room, where Miles uses his super speed ability to repair the damaged systems. Just as Duncan activates the Holtzman engines, a thinking machine starship collides with Ithaca, forcing Idaho to surrender. The ship is then taken to Synchrony. Back to the old Empire, Murbella prepares her attack against the thinking machines, but finds out that the Obliterators and Ixian navigation systems have been sabotaged. It looks like defeat is imminent, but the Oracle of Time arrives with an entire fleet of Guild Heiliners piloted by navigators. They all attack, annihilating the first wave of thinking machines. Norma Senva wants to go to Synchrony to destroy the machines forever, and her entire fleet disappears. On Synchrony, Vladimir Harkonnen is sent to meet with the Ithaca crew, and when he sees Alia, he stabs her, avenging his death back in Arrakeen 5,000 years ago. The group is then escorted to Cathedral, the main hub of the thinking machines. Omnius reveals his plan to achieve absolute domination over humanity by using the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach. Paul and his evil version have to duel for this spot, and the fight ends with Paul sustaining what appears to be a fatal wound. Paolo is the winner, so he consumes the Ultra Spice but becomes overwhelmed by prescient visions and lapses into a coma. Taking advantage of the situation, Yui eliminates Baron Harkonnen for the torture and death of his wife, back when he was forced to betray the Atreides. With encouragement from Chani and Jessica, Paul uses his Bene Gesserit abilities to heal himself. With his memories restored, Paul shares that the final Duncan Idaho ghola is the true ultimate Kwisatz Haderach. The Oracle of Time appears and confirms what Paul said about Duncan, and reveals that she will leave the universe, taking Omnius with her. The Oracle then disappears into another dimension, taking all remnants of the Evermind. During this time, Leto II and Shiana released the sandworms held within the ship's cargo on Synchrony, unleashing chaos. When face dancers launched their assault, Sightale unleashed a vast cloud of nerve gas, wiping out hundreds of them instantly. Once the fight is over, Leto regains his memories, and he tells Shiana that he belongs in union with the worms. He walks inside the largest sandworm, and then several of them morph together into one massive superworm before vanishing underground. Following their fight against the thinking machines, Duncan finds Paul recovering in a chamber. Paul tells Duncan that he is the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach, having evolved throughout thousands of years of ghola reincarnations and genetic refinement. The free-thinking machine Erasmus admits he was the mastermind behind the synchronized worlds. With both humans and machines now severely weakened by the war, Crone defies his master and proclaims the face dancers as the new rulers of the universe. Erasmus then reveals that a failsafe is hidden within every face dancer, and with a single command, it destroys all enhanced face dancers across the universe. Tens of millions were destroyed, and this event exposes how deeply they have infiltrated into human society. Erasmus presents Idaho with a critical decision. Duncan chooses to have peace and harmony between humans and machines, and he merges his mind with Erasmus. He gains all the knowledge and the codes to govern the synchronized worlds, making Duncan the link between humanity and machines. Erasmus fulfills its purpose and asks Duncan to help with dying by making it understand human mortality. Duncan agrees and shares one of his death memories as he shuts Erasmus down. In the old empire, Murbella's forces brace for the second assault, only to find that the machines have suddenly stopped, drifting aimlessly over Chapter House. A navigator takes her to Synchrony, where she reunites with Duncan. He entrusts Synchrony to Shiana and her Orthodox sisterhood, while he returns with Murbella to lead a new era of peaceful coexistence between humans and machines. Stilgar and Liatkines continue their efforts to help with the desert's expansion on planet Quelso, teaching the natives to adapt to the inevitable environmental transformation. Duncan arrives on the planet with a fleet of thinking machines under his control, offering their assistance to slow the desert's advance. He explains to Stilgar and Kynes how the planet will become half desert and half forest, just as he became half human and half machine. The gholas of Lady Jessica and Dr. Yue have returned to the old Atreides castle on Caladan. With them is also the 10-year-old ghola of Duke Leto, who hasn't got his memories back yet. Jessica is happy that she will soon be reunited with her beloved Leto, looking forward to the moment his memories will be restored. On Synchrony, Shiana is working with Scytale and the Orthodox Sisterhood to revive the Bene Gesserit breeding program, vowing never to create another Kwisatz Haderach. By her side is also the young ghola of Serena Butler, the legendary leader of the Butlerian Jihad. Scytale has successfully grown Tleilaxu females from newfound genetic material. He promises the female gholas will never again be exploited as axolotl tanks, hoping to avoid the rise of destructive forces like the honored Matri in the future. Paul and Cheney went back to Arrakis, working to bring the planet back to its former greatness. The planet is named Dune again, and now Paul can live a simple Fremen life with Cheney and love each other just as he wished 5,000 years ago.